Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Weekly Collective. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. This reading, as you probably know, is going to help you through the next 7 days, helping you navigate all the twists and turns. You chose a really great topic today. We're going to be looking at rainbows as a topic, I should say. It's basically about finding a way to create more joy. And what I love about a rainbow is it has all the colors of the chakras in it. So we're going to look at everything that's going on and try to make the most of it. So if you're brand new, this is the format. We're going to start off with channeled messages, and then we'll move on to a 7-day forecast, an elemental breakdown, and then we get into that special topic that I just mentioned. I'm also going to, I have some extra memberships today, so I will gift those. Make sure that you have subscribed. I'll probably do that after the 7-day forecast. Okay. Good to see everybody. Welcome. Channeled messages. I got a bunch of these in dreams this morning, and they were very much oriented towards planning. And so let's, without further delay, get straight into it. Just a quick reminder that everything that I'm doing is for the collective, in other words, everybody. And the only specific piece is going to be that elemental breakdown. Okay? Happy to have you here. I see people that are happy to be here, so good to see you as well. All right. First thing that I picked up on in dreams was planning ahead. So I saw this event, like a party, a gathering or something that was going on, and I was the planner, like the event person, but when I went into the fridge, nothing was there. When I went into the pantry and the closet and the supply area, there wasn't enough, and I was trying to cobble together things. And to me, this represents, I mean, from time to time, this is especially true for students sometimes, you tend to kind of push things to the last minute. A test is tomorrow or paper's due tomorrow. You're like, I'll study later. I'll get this done later. This is an incident where you really want to plan ahead, or an instance, that's what I was trying to say. So we're looking at the next 7 days. I would say each day, just take a moment and think, what do I need to do tomorrow, the next day, etc. Try to get ahead of things just a bit. Because this is a time where there could be more coming your way. It's not necessarily a bad thing. There could just be less time, less money, less resources than you think. And that's why we have the Six of Pentacles here, weighing things out and trying to do what matters most. Contingency plans are important. And as a producer, that's something that I always put into a budget. So I will add extra padding, give myself extra time. Like if I'm going to hire an editor for something, I'll think, well, maybe they're going to need a little bit more money for this, or we might add scope to this. So when you're saving money, or when you're scheduling an event or planning a vacation, put extra time and money aside so that you're going to be able to do everything you want to do. Okay? Get insurance. This is another thing to plan for the unexpected. And ultimately, that's kind of what I was seeing. It did not seem like it was weather related. It just seemed like it was resource related. So time, energy, money. Just be mindful of that and don't cut it too short. Okay? Very clear message. Very avoidable if you kind of keep things. And another way to think of this is, when you're sort of keeping supplies and planning for a trip, you want to have a little bit extra. It's like you always plan an extra. You put an extra t-shirt or pair of socks or whatever. Just think in that sort of way this week. Put a little to the side. Okay. Now, this is an interesting message for small business people, but anyone in general. I also saw some sort of a supply-demand disruption in a good way. More demand than there is supply. So it's piggybacking off the last message. I have 7 of Wands here, but these two go together because you're going to have to weigh out what you need. So we could see an uptick in demand. Your time could be in demand. Your money could be in demand, or again, in a business, it could be the supplies that you're selling or the product that you're selling. The main thing here is forecasting, not overcommitting, and ask for more. This is one thing that I remember from my various business classes, because I had like a Bachelor of Science for my undergrad, so I did have to take like economics and statistics and business 101. But if you are consistently unable to keep up with demand, pricing is usually not where it needs to be. Sometimes things have to go up in price. Sometimes you might just want to do less but do it better. But it's good news if your time is in demand. That means that when it comes to like a negotiation, you can ask for a little bit more. So keep that in mind and know that you don't have to go crazy. It's just small tweaks until you reach that perfect place where there's a little bit of extra time or a little bit of extra supplies. So you can read up on that. I do remember that much from from college. All right, the personal touch is going to be really important. A lot of energy today around business and resources for whatever reason, so we'll just go with it. The other thing that I saw was the importance of standing out in the crowd. So I have here the star card, and this will help everybody. If you're trying to find a partner, if you're trying to find a job, or if you're just trying to get people's attention, it's not about cutting and pasting. It's really important this week to do something that makes you have a little bit more flair. I don't know why this is coming to me, but Legally Blonde, it's like her resume is pink and she sprayed some sort of scent on it and they kind of comment on it. We're not going to go that literal. It's just something a little different that makes you stand out. Sometimes different is good. So take a note from Elle Woods there and be unique, be yourself, unapologetically so. And that might be exactly sort of the breath of fresh air that people need. In presentations, this is important too. Make sure that you're showing interest, showing dedication and trying, and also kind of like part of growth involves risk. You have to experiment a little bit. So this is the week to experiment and to make a splash. I'm glad some of you got the reference from Legally Blonde. It's now an older movie. It's kind of weird, because I think it's been 10 or 15 years since that came out. All right. Now we'll talk a little bit about the rainbow. And some of these things I've talked about before, but it's always fun when this comes up as a topic. So, fun fact, I don't remember this when I studied Spanish. For whatever reason, we didn't learn the word, but the word rainbow is like arco iris, like the arc of Iris. Iris, of course, being in Greek mythology, the personification of rainbows. And she had this ability to go to and from the underworld. I chose Temperance here because she had a pitcher of water that she could basically put into the river Styx, and that water had magical qualities. If someone drank it and said a lie, then they fell asleep for a year. Kind of arbitrary, right? This is a time to speak up and speak the truth and find balance and truth in your life. And when that's absent, that's something that this week we really want to pay attention to. So also it's kind of putting people to the side that are not ready or willing to be accountable. So, it's not like they have to be not talked to for a year. It's more like this week, your time and energy really needs to be spent with people that have honesty, integrity, and are also kind of like realistic, right? So there you go, a little fun fact there. Let's see if there's anything else. Oh my gosh, someone just told me the Legally Blonde. It was 2001. Where did the time go? Okay, so it's like 2 decades ago. Anyway, it's worth a watch. It's on streaming channels. It's fun. Like the music is fun and the message is fun. And I've never watched that movie and not felt good afterwards. Part of it is, it's silly and suspended disbelief, but it is about being nice and doing the right thing. So it's kind of in connection with everything that we talked about today. All right, we're going to move on into the 7-day forecast and see what's in store. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully you're well. Again, great to see all of you. All right, let me move my coffee out of the way. Okay, let's get started, folks. Again, this is going to give us what we need for the next 7 days. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, watch it. It's fun. Don't expect Academy Award material, but expect something that makes you smile and laugh and has like a lot of heart. That's Legally Blonde. All right, let's close our eyes. Let's focus on the next 7 days. Let's look for joy. We're going to bring in a little bit of that here, and anything that might be blocking it, we're going to do more of that in a special topic, but why not also tune in a little bit here too? Anything else that's, we're already seeing what's blocking some of it. Anything that we need to see also in this particular spread. The way the 7-day works is it's going to be 1 card per day to basically help us stay on track. I'm using an ancient deck here. Speaking of older ones here, I'm using Morgan Greer. It's fun. It's colorful. It's like from the 70s. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, we got everything. All right, so we're going to get started here first with today, Sunday. So for some of you, it's time for a break. Ten of Swords comes through. It can just be burnout. I mean, I know that the illustration in Ten of Swords is always a bit alarmist, but sometimes it just means you're tired. Your body needs a break. Your brain needs a break. So if you were looking for encouragement or permission to just have fun, yes, please do something today that is just going to give yourself a break. So it's a great day for the beach, to watch TV, to just do something very chill, very low sort of impact on the body. So whatever that would be for you, this card is saying, yeah, please take care of yourself. It can also connect to chronic pain or fatigue. So for those of you that might be dealing with back pain or even just emotional scars from the past coming forth, this is a day to gently kind of address that and focus on healing. One thing that is always good with the Ten of Swords, it usually is a full stop. It's an end, and it represents the understanding that something didn't serve you. You know exactly what you don't want or what isn't working, and you instead choose to focus on the next step. So that's why taking it easy, focusing on wellness and well-being, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, all of that is important today. Things to avoid so that you don't get into this. It's not a great day for an argument or even like a persuasive conversation or negotiation. It's better today to keep things in a neutral space. So don't pick a fight, basically, and don't take the bait if someone else throws a barb your way. Who knows what they're going through? It doesn't make it better, but I would say elevating communication or avoiding unnecessary conflict is key. All right, and these are the main takeaways for today. The good news for many of you is we see that things are about to get easier or better because there's nowhere to go but up from the Ten of Swords. And so for those of you that have had a challenging week, month, or year, it's looking better. This is the turning point. And today is a day to focus on the change, the potential, and loving yourself. Okay, so that's today. By the way, we have a rainbow coming through. Let's first look at Monday. Monday is coming out of that sort of sleepy zone here. Some of you you need a couple days, let's be honest. So normally, I mean, we're very zoomed in on this deck, which is kind of why I like it, but normally you would see a sepulcher. We just see the zoomed in head portion of the sepulcher here, and that's just a fancy word for a coffin. So it represents deep sleep and rest. When it's reversed, it's showing many of you are not getting the time that you need to rest. It's often because the schedule is busy, there's unexpected things coming through. I've had a busy few days. That's why Aquarius, I had to delay it 2 or 3 times. Plus, I kept finding issues with the video. I'm like, come on, Aquarius. But you know me, I'm quality, so I waited and I revised it 3 times. But I've had a busy schedule, and sometimes you just got to, take it a day at a time. So if you have to delay something, if you need some time to rest, whatever, make sure that you're getting that time to rest. And you don't want to rush. I always would rather do something later but better. So take a note from me, and if something needs to be delayed, delay it. It's not the end of the world. But you might not be getting enough quality or quantity of sleep in a more sort of granular way with this card. So if that's happening for you, I think it's going to be really important to slow down for a second and find the source. Is it stress? Is it health? Obviously, lean on the support and the expertise of professionals if you need to, but take it slowly, and I don't think this is a day to add anything to your schedule. So it would be better we were talking about planning ahead, maybe like midweek or Wednesday and Friday. We'll talk more about it in a second, but push something off a couple of days, give yourself time to rest. And also, nothing good comes from rushing. That's why when I was originally kind of looking at my own schedule, I'm like, I need one more night. I need to sleep. I get to a point where I can't review something objectively, and I'm like, no, it's going to have to wait. So if you have a paper that's due, a legal commitment, whatever, and you don't absolutely need to do it, give yourself the rest so that you can objectively, clearly look through something and make a decision, based on a clear and properly functioning mind. So enough said with that. Now we have our rainbow. This is really cool. So on Tuesday, it's a day for love, partnership, friendship. It also feels like you might be getting a helping hand. Literally, we have someone coming through and taking that cup and saying, you know, I'm interested. Do you need some help? And sometimes we have a hard time receiving. So what we can first sort of interpret this as is unexpected help, ally, or, you know, interest, but you may just be in disbelief. You know, can this really be? Is this person really, or can I accept the help? So maybe put yourself out of your comfort zone and say, sure, that would be great. Yeah, lend me a hand. I did that yesterday. A friend of mine was like, hey, do you want me to drive you around and we can look for houses? It'll be easier because I'm trying to find a new apartment. And it did help. I found 6 places that I'm going to follow up with later. So I never accept help just because I'm used to helping others. I'm like, yeah, you know what? You're right. Let's do it. So it can be something like that. And then I treated them to a bite to eat afterwards. So give and take. That's what this is. Reciprocity. Yes, there could be love, friendship, or someone new coming into your life. You have to be open. You have to open yourself up a little bit. Look around, because there's something about this that can be a little bit unexpected. Now, the other way that we can interpret this, in the upright, it's beautiful. We see that partnership, but this can also be strong arming someone, pressuring, peer pressure. It could be from someone very close, sibling, a love interest, or family member. Because they know exactly how to rope us into things. So kindly and firmly, if you don't feel like doing it, just say, no thanks. Not a big deal. They keep pushing, just say, no, I'm really not interested. But, you know, if there's something else that I can help you with, great. So you've just got to be, sometimes you have to repeat the no, and then increase the sort of strength with which you say it each time until it's at the end. Just say, no, I'm really not interested. Sometimes you have to actually just say it. So you can try to hint, but I feel like some of us might have to spit that no out of our mouth at some point on Tuesday. Okay? You may have one too many social activities or extracurricular activities as well. But ultimately, if you've been in a dry spell, for those of you that are looking for love, friendship, or networking opportunities, again, there's an end of that here. And I love that we got the rainbow nicely connected with what's going on. And it's also that silver lining after, you know, an interesting start to the week. Self-care, needing a little bit more rest, and then it pays off here in a good way. This is a great day to have a meeting, to go out on a date, or to just do something social, okay? Midweek, we have the King of Pentacles coming through in the reverse state. It's a day where you may have to speak up. So we talked about supply and demand. This is a day where you can demand a little bit more and say, you know, I only have so many hours in a day. Something has to give, or I need a little bit more so I can get some support. You're going to speak up and say what it is that you need. Stating expectations in a relationship too. It can be sort of like what you are expecting from a friend or a love interest, so that you know, they can make you happy, and that there's more sort of like balance and reciprocity. Ultimately, this is getting a handle on your money. The King of Pentacles is always going to be a card where there's more than enough. You see like lush greenery and vines and excess and all of that. So this is a day to kind of look and see with more discernment if there's any places where you're under investing or overspending, or where there might be places where you could find a little bit more balance. You hear the birds in the background. That's nice. So yeah, just getting a handle on the money, looking at your budget, speaking up if there's a lack, being really honest with yourself if you're overdoing it in some way, shape, or form, because King and Queen of Pentacles in reverse do enjoy splurging. So moderation is key. Let's leave it at that on Wednesday. Okay. Decision time here as we look at Thursday. It may not be your decision. So judgment is usually something that's delivered, right? Just like a judge. So you may be in the presence of someone who makes up their mind, makes up their decision, and frankly, they're not looking for an argument. They're just saying, hey, this is what I'm doing. What you get to decide is how you want to react, what you want to do with that. So in the case of like a company, there could be some sort of a change of leadership, or you could be assigned to work on something with someone, and they're like, yeah, really isn't up for, sort of conversation. I just need to know you're on board. So that's one way to look at this. This is also you coming to a decision and people looking to you for that decision. Like, what do you think? And they're looking to you because they trust your judgment. The one thing you want to avoid, it's upright, so I'm not really worried about it, but it's just not to be too judgy about other people. And also, if they're kind of throwing judgment your way, take everything with a grain of salt. This is a card of rising up, second chances. Whatever this was for some of you, this also represents the fact that you know that everything comes to an end, and this is a chance for you to basically focus on potential. So we have a little bit of an echo of what we talked about for Sunday, also coming through on Thursday. And it's saying, what do you want to do next? How are you going to focus on taking all these lessons and experiences and building from them? I love Judgment because it's one of the angelic cards. So we have like Temperance, Judgment, and the Lovers. Those are the ones that roll off at the top of my head that have angels in them. So anytime we have that, you could also be experiencing some incontrovertible or very, very clear synchronicities. So you see something and it just feels right. Things just come together. If you're in the flow like that, that's spirit working with you. Particularly this is like Gabriel that comes through on this card. The communication, the clarity is there. So if you really feel solid about something, then trust that. And then we have a good card at the end of the week for just managing everything. It feels like whatever challenges I saw in dreams and visions this morning, by the end of the week, you've got it together. The Hierophant is one of the most buttoned up, organized, structured cards that you can pull. And so it's good occasionally to get this in your own life. It means that all the stuff that we just talked about, you've got this by the end of the week. People may also be looking to you for organization, structure, or leadership. And you just have to sort of like, sometimes it's sort of, you feel like, can I do this? Fake it till you make it. That's what I see, because they see something in you maybe that you didn't even recognize, a quality that you had that takes some years to come through or whatever in your own mind, but it's there. So trust that. If there is a gatekeeper and they're kind of arbitrarily saying no, we have two keys here. There are different paths you can take. You might be working with a person that lacks imagination or maybe even the power to actually make the decision. So sometimes this is about looking for a different decision maker, a different gatekeeper, or being your own gatekeeper. This is definitely an entrepreneurial card. So it might be a day that you're having difficulty in taking sort of direction or leadership. And so maybe it's a day to sort of do your own thing more. Or if you needed to launch, if you've been looking for a sign, we've got a couple signs here. This is saying enough, and this is like, I'm going to do it on my own. So for those of you that are thinking of being more of an entrepreneur, I'm definitely getting that energy here. Also with the World and the Fool, it's like all four of these cards are leading to independence. This is the penultimate, this is the ultimate card, so it's a nice segue into next Saturday. Ends and beginnings, big ends and beginnings. Like this is the last card in the major arcana. The World in reverse. So we're looking at this way ahead of time. That's what's cool about coming here every Sunday. So hopefully by next Saturday, you are like, okay, I'm ready for the change. It's not gonna feel as discombobulating. But this could be new love, new job, or a new sort of way of approaching something. And this is where you really kind of pull that into being. You're taking the first step. I mean, the very next card, these are bookends. So you got the bookends side by side. Both of them are reversed. Again, this is Saturday and this is next Sunday. So it feels like you're just wrapping your head around things and deciding it's not if, it's when to take the first step. And you have multiple days you can do it. You could do it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Nice broad opening of windows there and nicely aligned with the new month. Can you believe we're just on the precipice of May? I mean, I'm happy that we are, but it seems kind of like crazy that we're almost at the midpoint of the year. This is also asking you the question, what's the big picture? Why are you doing whatever you're doing? And what is the plan beyond today? So whether that's a relationship, you might be thinking, is this the one that I want to get more serious with? In a job, you might be thinking, am I spinning my wheels here? Or is this where I want to kind of like sink my teeth into for a while? And maybe some of you are just ready for something different, big change. So it's either commitment or change. And you can kind of figure out where you're at on that spectrum. All right, now we'll take a look at Sunday. This is really when the step comes through, it feels like for many of you. So this is hopefully landing on your feet. But for some of you, you're still, the Fool in reverse is looking at the past rather than the future. So nostalgia could be, for some of you, turning around regret and making it a goal. I quite like that, actually. So it's actually something that I use in my own sort of practice. If you have something where you're thinking to yourself, I wish I would have done that, or what if I could have done this, use those to inform goals for the future. So anything on the bucket list that isn't done, this is when you want to do it. And this is a great way to create a goal. Like, imagine today is the last day on the planet. If it was your last day here, did you do everything you wanted to do? And if you feel a tinge of regret that you didn't do something, then use that and pull it forward and say, well, I'm going to do it now. Why am I regretting something that I can still impact, right? Some of you are overdue to move or to move on. And this is the day to basically articulate or step into the change. So lots of change and movement as we're looking at all of these cards. Let's talk about highlights and then challenges, and then we'll move on to the elements. All right, so highlights and challenges for the week ahead. Clearly the challenges are actually like today and tomorrow. I feel like everything else is pretty manageable, but the biggest challenge would be Ten of Swords. Take it easy today. Don't overdo it. Really rest. Have some fun. For tomorrow, and even for those of you that are watching me in like New Zealand or Japan or whatever, where I know it's already a time difference, these two are very compatible, so it's spilling into Monday as well. So please just continue to be kind to yourself. And I feel like deferring things or like just saying no is going to be important. The saying no energy also spills into Monday. But I think your highlights, next weekend, really starting from Thursday onward, it looks great. You can kind of do anything you set your mind to. A social highlight would be Tuesday if you need to meet with someone. Across the board, though, it's a little challenging, and then it gets really, really good. And then it's all good stuff here towards the end of the week and the beginning of the next one. Okay, so good stuff. Let's move on to the elements. So this is the only portion of today that's going to be slightly more specific. Everything else is general. So let me select a deck of cards for this, and then after that I might gift a membership or two. Fire, earth, air, and water. All right, let's begin here. We're going to start off with fire signs first. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So we have the Two of Wands coming through here for you, and the Two of Wands is reversed. In the upright position, it's about seeing what's possible and also using your sort of like planning and envisioning capabilities to sort of like breathe life into something. Again, with the sort of nostalgic or backward looking glance, I feel like this is a week where many of us are just thinking, how can I bring it together? How can I make this happen? And that's a good way to look at it. It's not can I, it's how can I, and when will I? And so I feel like putting it into the affirmative, I am going to do this. This is when, this is how is going to be key. Making time to dream and plan, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. This is really what you want to do. So all my fire signs, this is not a week to kind of just get stuck in the day-to-day schedule and not be present and not think about what's next. You can be much more powerful if you're focusing on how it's all helping you accomplish larger goals and visions. And of course, we have the world coming through on Saturday. So she's holding the globe. If you really set your intentions, you have a good chance of accomplishing things, and it can get done by Saturday. So I like what I see in that overall. Right after this is the Three of Wands. So rapid manifestation. Things can happen quicker or more quickly than you might imagine. And it's also encouraging you to be mindful of looking in all directions. So sometimes we are so keen on something happening in a certain shape, in a certain form, at a certain time, that if there's something better or something different, we might miss it. So really keeping an open mind also is coming through. But ultimately, this is good. You're in an energy of receiving. It's just about doing something with what you're receiving. Okay? So I like what I see here for the fire signs. Let's go to Earth. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Nicely aligned with the energy of Friday, just a different illustration for it. So we have the Hierophant here, beautiful, not eagle, an owl connected to the energy of Athena. And so it's also showing you that I believe that this has to do with kind of like karmic wisdom, like you've paid your dues in previous lifetimes, and it's about recognizing that this lifetime, you don't have to repeat a cycle. That's one thing. This is also a very sort of conforming and like an unusual, very unusual sort of Hierophant. So what's right for your structure in your life may not fit into what the more traditional people in your life are thinking. So I know that we're looking at Earth, grounded energy, etc. But maybe this is about building something of your own, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. This is your chance to really say, this is my truth. This is what matters to me, and this is how I'm going to do it. You hold the key. And we do have this sort of little child in the tree, something youthful. So you can teach. I mean, actually, children come through as teachers, right? So it's okay if your parents or grandparents don't understand or don't agree. You're teaching them and you're showing them what's possible as much as they did for you when you were a kid. So remember, the tables get turned. Eventually, kids become adults anyway. So trust the inner knowledge, trust the karmic learning, and don't repeat stuff. I think really put to practice, the lessons that were hard lessons in this lifetime and think, not that again. You can forgive, but not forget. And I think it's important now to make choices that are right for you. Structure and building, like we talked about, really, really good for you this week. So getting organized, putting things into a plan, and you being the boss. This is the second time we got that boss card. So be willing and ready to step up to the plate. People are open to listening if you believe in yourself and if you have a clear vision. Okay? Pretty good energy. I mean, I like the Hierophant. It is one of the ultimate boss and structure cards. It's deeply spiritual as well. So you have a chance to really stay grounded and see things through this week. All right, moving from my earth signs to air. Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Another spiritual card here coming through with the Hermit. Some of you are pulling back, and that doesn't surprise me because we had 10 of Swords, 4 of Swords, and the 10 of Cups in reverse. So some of you are just saying, I need a timeout. There's a lot that's been going on. That's okay. But towards the end of the week, you are going to have to come out of that Hermit phase, and people are looking to you as well for advice. And that's what the Hermit is. It's an expert. So this is a time, again, at any time past Wednesday, if there's something that needs to be said, speak up, raise your hand. And it's not how often you speak or when you speak, it's what you're offering that matters. Less is more. So drop that pearl of wisdom when it comes through. It will be well received. And this is a great week to really learn or build or create something, because the Hermit is usually in the background doing something amazing, and then pow, when it's finally time to kind of like come out and show everybody, they'll be like, how did you come up with that? You've been busy. So I see a lot of behind the scenes work going on for you. And ultimately a lot of healing. It feels like some of you just need some time to yourself this week. And that's okay. I think by the weekend, when we saw the World and the Fool, you'll be coming out of the shell naturally anyway. And maybe even by Friday, because people are looking to you for your leadership. But take the first part of the week, build, repair, plan, and you'll come out sitting pretty by the end of this week ahead. All right, so that's my air signs. And moving from air now to water, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. It's a pretty good card overall. The Ten of Pentacles I'll take even in reverse. It's a card of building, creating, and ultimately what we see here is kind of like this legacy. Let me take off the graphic for a second. I do love this deck. So these are all the rings of a tree. We have the old man on top, and we kind of have someone reviewing the rings of their life. And I mean, I think this benefits everybody, not just water, but this is about looking at what is your legacy. When I had on my first podcast, a guest on, I was like, what is your legacy? Why are you doing this? It's a question I ask myself when I'm doing certain things. What's the indelible mark that I'm leaving by this project or this activity? Does it fit with what I'm trying to accomplish? So look at the big picture. Also look at how far you have come to get to here. Each ring represents a year or a period of that tree's life, and it takes time to get to that Ten of Pentacles. So if you're in one of those beginning rings, just keep pushing through. Don't give up. Look at the big picture. This is also peer pressure, just like this Ten of Cups was, because this is usually intimate love in your life, friends, family, and people that you care about a lot. This can be professional spheres too. It can be marriage, but it can also be contractual relationships, like your coworkers or people that might be involved in your life because of, contracts. So we see contractual pressure, we see familial pressure because we actually do have the family there. I would say again, this week it's important not to succumb to pressure and to manage pressure also. When it's peer pressure, you're pushing back on it. When it's pressure from work or job or something like that, it's also about, we talked about supply and demand, saying no, all of those lessons definitely come through with this. It's a card of value. Don't underestimate your value. I mean, every card we got this week for all the signs are pretty good. Two of Wands, Hierophant, Hermit, and this. We're in a really good sort of energetic flow. Thank God retrograde, we have a little bit of a shadow, but thank God it's done. You can already see the effects of the movement here and the change. So namaste to retrograde, Mercury retrograde being done. All right, I'm going to gift a membership right now. So make sure that if you aren't already subscribed, that you have subscribed. And I can do this twice per month. You will know because you'll get a notification and the color of your name will be different. I always see people fixating on that and asking questions. So I'm going to save Dakota from having to answer that. That's how you know. So there we go. 5 new memberships to 5 lucky viewers for just being amazing. So thank you so much. Enjoy that. I do it twice per month. And also just stay active in the stream here. People will also give it as well. So thank you to those that have gifted. Congrats to those that got it. If you didn't get it today, don't be sad. Again, I give away 10 per month just because I can. All right, let's get ready for the next portion. We're going to go on to the special topic, which is rainbows. And specifically, the rainbow is helping us connect to more joy. Who doesn't want more joy in their life, right? I know I can always use some more joy too. While I figure out what I want to see for the cards here, if you haven't already liked and subscribed, please do that right now. And let me see which deck I want to use here. I might keep this one out to the side. I usually let the decks decide. Let's see here. Has rainbows on it. Okay, so we're going to do an old-fashioned shuffle here. Let each of these decks decide which one wants to come through. Okay, we're going to use an old sort of out-of-print deck here. All right. All right, let's begin. Again, this is for everybody that's present. Good to have all of you here. Let's see what the cards have to say. Special topic again, rainbow, more love. That's what, more joy rather. I just remembered there being a lot of rainbows in this, and there are, or a lot of gradients of colors. Let's get started, folks. Okay, so we're going to begin here with the catalyst energy, and it really nicely aligns with what came through. It says take charge and action. Again, the catalyst helps us make change or movement happen in our life. So, this week for the various elements and also the different days of the week, we got a few boss cards, particularly the Hierophant kept coming through. So some of you may be kind of thrust in that position of decision making. We also got Judgment. Some of you may just decide to speak up. And this is basically saying it's time. You know what to do. You know what to do. You know how to do it. It's a matter of when. And so decide when and decide how. We also had the Two of Wands planning energy coming through. So this is saying, specifically when we look, you kind of got markers in the week, next Saturday and next Sunday, because it was the World and the Fool, the end and the beginning. That's a really good time. So you have the whole week now to decide how to get everything set up, and how and when to communicate it. But it feels like you're poised here for 7 days from today, starting a new chapter if you want to. This is also about speaking up against any sort of things in your life that are counter to or pushing back on the joy, obviously. So make sure that you just, communication is key in general. All right, let's go to your centermost card. Speaking of which, nicely aligned to it, we have the King of Swords coming through here. So it's important to use the power of speech and communication and articulation. This is what I want, or this is how it's going to be done. And in a very straightforward way like that. People may not be used to this sort of take charge energy, but it is exactly what is necessary in this moment in time, right? The other thing here is to just feel a sense of ownership and comfort with being in the energy of your truth. So you don't really need to ask permission for making a decision that's right for you. Even though we're sometimes taught that there's only one way to do it or whatever. This is, again, just ownership and confidence, and this is going to bring more joy. It does take time to kind of get that, but what happens is and I can say this now after having worked 15 years in a regular job and 10 years on my own, and then like going to school for 6 years. At a certain point, you've got to start living for yourself as well. You can't just be doing all this other stuff for everybody else. And you look at the just general lifespan and you're like, we only get so much time in each incarnation. If you can't speak your truth now, when are you going to speak it? So there you go. For those of you that are feeling that pressure from family, peers, or work, there does come a point where it's sort of like, imagine you were in the soul review and you were asking yourself, does it matter if I was, if I hit that sales deadline, sometimes some of these things are arbitrary. If I made that meeting versus going and seeing a loved one, perform or get an award or something, you got to figure out the bigger cosmic view and speak your truth and say no to certain things and know that you won't regret those decisions. So, okay, enough said on that. Crossing this card, we have the Eight of Cups. If we look closely on this one, she's removing a mask. The Eight of Cups is a cyclical card, ends and beginnings. Typically, you would see 8 cups, there's a gap, there's a person that's going hiking or taking some distance and getting away from it. She's come back from that sort of hike, and she also has removed the mask, the facade. So sometimes we need a little break away from the day-to-day to remove the mask and think, who am I? What am I doing? How did I end up here? I remember I was a kid when my mom told me this story, but it was one of the jobs that she was at, and the secretary there took like a 2-week vacation and quit. And she asked her, she was like, why did you quit? She said, I didn't miss the job, and I didn't want to spend another day here or waste another day in this office. And I was like, oh my God. But she got the clarity she needed from the sabbatical or the break. Sometimes we just keep putting ourselves through something and we don't realize the toll that it's taking until we step back. So for some of you, it's just get the break, get the wherewithal, like get the distance so that you have the wherewithal to communicate what you need to. It's also saying, if you didn't do it before there's a window that's opening now. So the Eight of Cups works this way. If you're done with something, say you've had enough. If there's unfinished business, you need to say something, you need to do something. You wish you could say or do something. Well, obviously the King of Swords underneath it is saying now is the time, and the Eight of Cups is saying this is the way, this is the place. So we have renewal here. I also see this as a second chance card. And if something didn't work the first time, let's say you applied to a job and you were rejected, or you asked someone out but they were in a relationship and the timing was off, and now everything's different. It's a chance to go back one more time and say, hey, I'm still interested. Are you interested? And if not, move on to something else, knowing that you said your truth, that you tried it, you shot your shot. If it didn't work, it's okay. But this is a chance to try one more time and then move on to something else. It's also saying some of you are overdue for a holiday break, sabbatical, etc. Sometimes you come back with more sort of energy and vitality than before. Sometimes you're ready to move in a different path, but you won't know until you take the break. Okay. Looking at karma, deep past messages, and things of that nature, we have the beautiful Six of Cups in the reverse state. And so for some of you, it is about going back to an old friendship, an old relationship, and clearing any karma or wounds, saying I love you, saying I'm sorry. For some of you, this could be a past life energy coming through again. And again, I talked about the Eight of Cups being a second chance card. Well, this is a second chance for that connection to happen. This is also just the inner child. For those of you that didn't have the support you needed or deserved as a child, and you felt like you had to suppress that inner child, this is the awakening. This is the celebration. This is you saying, I get to now be the me that I wasn't before. So authenticity, inner child energy coming forth. And because you're now playing the role of parent and child and teacher and everything, it's all encompassing. You don't have to apologize. So yeah, I get this energy of rebirthing. I mean, we got that here on the renewal here as well, and showing your true colors, taking the mask off. As we look at your recent past, we have strength coming through. This is an unusual strength card. I may pull the traditional one up here in just a second here, but what strength represents is not only sort of like the physical strength in your life, for sure, but it also represents your ability to overcome any sort of obstacle or any person that may be a little bit challenging. Here we go with the traditional one. What I would like to encourage you to do is to look at how much energy it takes to win a certain battle and think to yourself, do I want to keep doing what I'm doing? So success, everything comes at an energetic cost. So I always look at the strength card and I think, if there's a challenge, you've got this. That's the immediate win. But there is diminishing returns with the strength card. It costs more sometimes than it's worth. So it's the trade-off. I recently experienced this in a friendship where it was too much energy. We constantly had to kind of like walk on broken glass, and the communication was too difficult and the person just faded away. But at the end of the day, I think we're both relieved because there was all of this tension. I've said this before, silent treatment, when someone just doesn't react or take your call or whatever, that's also communication. You shouldn't have to force someone to hang out or to respond to a text or to listen or whatever. If you have to force feed the energy, and that is what strength also represents, it's not worth it. So don't force it. Don't force the flow. If it's closed, if the mouth is closed, if the energy is cut off, we actually kind of saw that coming through on tomorrow, actually, maybe Monday. Today may be the realization for some of you that something is over, whether it's a job or relationship and activity. You're like, I'm done. It's too much. I'm exhausted. If you're exhausted, let it go, okay? The good news is if you have some sort of difficult engagement, conversation, whatever, you've got what it takes here. But both of you have your roots firmly planted, and that's it. There's stubbornness in the strength card, okay? In the crowning position, we have a chance for you to change your mind, change your position, also kind of like say no if you want to. So we have the Ace of Swords, Excalibur in this deck. This is all Arthurian, this particular deck. This is one of the most powerful cards then in this particular deck because Excalibur had, magical qualities for King Arthur. Here's some interesting things. Like, I don't know that I need to go back and revisit the entire mythology of that. It's been a while since I was in the 9th grade or something when I studied it last, but I do remember this. If he didn't go and pull that stone out of the rock, like, you never know unless you ask. So this represents action and communication. It may not work for others, but it might work for you. So you owe it to yourself to go for it, to pull that sword out of the stone, to also use the power of your communication to bring things into existence or to cut them out. So if a contract isn't right, get in there with that red marker and circle it and say, no, I don't agree to this, or this isn't what we talked about. If someone is trying to strong arm you into something that doesn't feel right, you push back and you say no. If you want something, say, hey, I don't know if we've talked about this before, but I'm very interested in this. What can we do to make it happen? Your words are magical this week, and you don't want to underestimate your power or your potential. So the most powerful card we got in the crowning position, which I connect to thoughts, but speak it, think it, do it. That's your mantra. Like, you can do it. I can, I will, I am. And put the positivity, put the action in there. And the sword is reversed, but so is Excalibur. So someone else's no is your yes. That's exactly how it worked. It was waiting for the right person. So we talked about timing here with the 8 of Cups. The timing's right now. It's different now. And if you had difficulty in love, friendship, or just your inner child was unhappy, this is a period where that's shifting, everybody. This is a week where change happens, okay? Guess what we've got here? The 4 of Swords. The 4 of Swords was attached to Monday. Look at that guy. He is so tired. It can just represent sleep. And what we see on this card, recuperation. It is a different version of the 4 of Swords. There's 2 ways of looking at it. You're going to regain your strength, right? Okay, so we have strength here in the recent past. We have the 4 of Swords in the near future. And part of this is just by speaking up. And people will respect you if you do this. But that's what this energy is all about. Take charge, take action, get the rest, get the sort of recuperation that you need. And that is going to help you out. This too shall pass. Time is the magical component. It doesn't heal everything, but it heals most wounds, and it also, the wound may not disappear completely, but trust me, each passing day, if you're feeling anger, hatred, frustration, sadness, fear, anxiety, usually if it's from an event in the past, as the distance between you and that event grow, the pain, the scar, the energy, the attention to that ceases to be it doesn't have the same gravity. It's as if that were kind of like going opposite direction to you. Gravity at a certain point becomes weak, and it just becomes a distant point in the sky. It's a great meditation. We may use it today, actually, for letting go of someone or something, seeing them as a distant satellite going in a different direction. That's what I'm seeing. So put it to rest. You're putting something to rest. You're giving yourself rest. All of this in general will help you recuperate and move forward, and a new dawn is breaking in the background, okay? All right, how are you showing up? Pretty darn good here, and it does connect with this. So this is a very unusual 8 of Swords. I will pull the traditional one in a second, but I like that we're actually seeing root color energy. It's actually like root and sacral chakras coming through here. But the 8 of Swords is usually a blindfolded card. And in this deck, her eyes are closed, but she's using her power and energy to push back on the fear of the unknown. So we don't need to see or know everything. That's something that I've also learned as I've gotten older. Ambiguity is a part of life. Even when you are intuitive, if you're a seer, you're still going to have certain things that are out of your periphery. I recently reread the whole first book of Dune. I'm reading the second book as we speak. One of the interesting things that's definitely in the written version of Dune is that the main character, Paul Atreides, he is prescient and has this sort of clairvoyance to a point. And timelines shift, just like Yoda in Star Wars said, the future's constantly moving. If you ever wondered, like, why can't you just do one reading and we never come back? Your little micro decisions every single day affect it. So to the point that I can do a daily reading and it'll be slightly different, or monthly, because of free will, right? So just because you don't see it now doesn't mean you won't see it tomorrow. And just because it hasn't happened doesn't mean that it won't. And this is important. This is how we continue to learn things about ourselves and our world at large. Because if we don't ask the questions, or we don't sort of open ourselves up to the possibility of things beyond our comprehension, then the world stays small. Let's let the world get bigger and more expansive. Let's move beyond the sort of limited expectations of our past. So that's what she's releasing, is that it can only be one way. That's why I have one friend that's an atheist, and I'm like, that seems so extremist. At the very least, can't you be open to the possibility that there's more than just this? Because unless you are the creator itself, who knows? Like, I feel like at least be open to the fact that there are different ways that things could end up. So only believing that there's one way, or believing that there's nothing, I feel like most of us fall in the middle. Be curious. Be curious and release the binary, it's black or white. It's not. The world is in the middle. We've got the rainbow today. It's all the shades of the rainbow. See yourself through those different lenses and see the different lenses of possibility. Okay? Pretty powerful Eight of Swords, actually, and it's one of the most significant cards color-wise in this entire spread. It stands out. So you don't see it now, but that doesn't mean that it isn't possible or that it isn't coming. It just means that you don't see it. One last note on this. The universe can and will sometimes withhold details so that we don't get in the way of something great happening. So I've talked about this as well. Like, I'm not sure if this works the same for all intuitives, but like, let's say there's something amazing on the precipice of happening. Like, I don't always see the face of the person or the exact timing of it. I just know, oh, something good or someone good is about to come into my life. And that way I won't freak out when I meet that person or when the opportunity becomes more real. I've just been prepared. I'm like, oh, this is what I saw. Oh, it's happening now. Okay. And I still have a little bit of an element of surprise, which is cool. So sometimes like if it was a future love interest, I wouldn't see the face of the love interest. I would see general features, maybe like color of hair, color of eyes. Maybe even I would pick up on like if there was a different country or something, but I wouldn't see all the facial details. That way I still get the surprise. There's a little element of surprise even for intuitives. It may surprise you to know that like not everything is going to be spelled out perfectly. And that's because things are still moving and things are still forming. So you are actively creating your tomorrow. You're not going to get like a Cliff's Notes to everything. So have fun. Let the details fill in as they will. Here's what's going on in the environment. 9 of Cups. It's good stuff. And it's also a super bright card here that's a little bit different from everything else that we saw here. If you haven't taken a moment to have some fun, do it. This is celebration, extreme celebration, but like at least do something that creates some joy this week. Here's your joy card. And it may be in the form of a friend. Again, a friend that's trying to, this particular form of getting you into doing something different, I support. There may be a party invitation or something like that. It looks good. It looks like it could be positive. So allow yourself to kind of dabble in some of those invitations and make sure that you're not becoming too much of a hermit. This is especially true for the air sign since you got the hermit energy. This is also gratitude. We have generosity here, but it can be to attract joy. It helps if you are in the energy of love and joy. So starting the day off thinking, I'm so grateful that this happened. Even if it was painful, even if it was difficult, I'm grateful it's over. I'm grateful I know what I want. A gratitude practice. You don't need a journal. It sounds like it's homework. Just one thought each day. Start the day. This is your weekly challenge. I would love for you to start the day with a thought of gratitude and then a thought of intention. Because once you open your heart up a little bit with the gratitude, then spirit can come through your heart and your third eye and give you some insight when it comes to the intention. So the gratitude can be anything, including I'm glad it's done. That is gratitude. And then just let it go. And she was practicing on releasing it. Thanks for the lesson. Return to sender. I don't need that anymore. Back to source. That's one of the things I do when I clear energy too. I don't have to change it alchemically. I can just go through, if I'm smudging the house and I'm like, anything of a lower frequency, go back to source. Get out of here. Scram. I don't have to clean up your mess, but you're not staying here. So in your own life, the same thing. You don't have to fix everyone or everything. You just have to clear it. So practice that energetic clearing. And when you're smudging, the same sort of thing. You could just say return to sender. Anything that isn't of the highest possible frequency, archangelic or higher, or source energy, get out of here. Don't go to extremes. That's the one thing here in the environment that's key. And by the way, for some of you that might be, there might be a lot of things going on. I would just say, make sure that, again, when it's like any sort of invitation, things of that nature, etc., less is more. So you don't have to kind of like go overboard here. Just easy does it. All right. What I was trying to say, I got just distracted because someone said they were going to a party. What you really want to focus on right now is if someone in your energy sphere is overly excited or overly needy, again, less is more. You can't fix that either. You give a little bit of support, you have some boundaries, and just kind of like try not to have the battery go too empty. Okay. Let's look at hope spheres and opportunities here. And let me just take a quick drink first. Okay, hope spheres and opportunities. This is your chance to find joy, to reclaim your sort of power, your energy. And as we look at this, we have like a little serpent coming out of that chalice there. So for many of you, this is a chance to maybe give yourself permission to follow your passion, follow your desire. And in doing so, this is also where you find your power. But new love could be coming into your life for sure with this particular card. So if you're open to it, this is the week to kind of like, connect with some of that magic. And let's see if there's anything else that we need to focus on for this. If it's not good enough, push back, okay? One of the important things sometimes is we just, you don't have to settle for less than what's best for you, okay? And then right on top of that, we do have the 10 of Cups, happiness, love, relationships. We saw that coming through for some of you this week as well. Everybody got the 10 of Cups. Was it Tuesday, I think, in the reverse state. So the thing here is it should be in the flow. It should be natural. It should be something that you don't have to force, which we talked about. So this is the energy of having to force it into being. And this is like, I'm in the flow, I'm open to receiving, but it's going to flow both ways. And if it doesn't, that's a sign that it's okay to wait a little bit. We do see you kind of like going towards that energy of happiness and satisfaction, which we like here as well. Okay. Let's expand this. We're going to go a little briefer because I for whatever reason today, there was a lot to talk about. This has been and still is a powerful reading. So what I'm going to do is lightly touch upon health, wealth, love, and destiny. I don't feel like we have to go too deeply into that because your monthlies do, but I'll hit the high points on all of those. We're going to start off with health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. And flexibility is key. Lots of water coming through here with that final card and then with this. So the fish, first of all, for Pisces, this is a good week for you, but for everybody else, it's about the flexibility that the fish represents. And the ability also, I'm getting fish have gills, but it is about the breathing, taking a moment to really breathe. That's what I see with this. And breathing through the emotions, because that's what the gills allow them to do, kind of like process all the water. So breathe and allow the emotions to flow and allow yourself to kind of be able to not necessarily just be in control of it, but be in that flow of energy this week. It could be very good for those of you that are in a climate that supports it to, dip your foot into a pool or the ocean or to meditate near the water. That could be a very calming force as well. Also, make sure you're getting ample hydration as well. All right, let's look quickly at all of the cards here and see what else is coming through. This has been reiterated a few times. Quality and quantity of sleep. If you're getting a lot but you don't feel rested, could be something like sleep apnea. There could be other things, depression, other things could be coming through. So obviously this is a more holistic approach. You'd have to work with your doctor on that if you're not getting what you need. But some of us just know that we're not getting enough. So make sure that you're getting enough. This is also an encouragement to focus on the physical body. So making sure that exercise is where it needs to be in your sort of overall, routine. And we see strength building, action, and rest. So proper sleep, proper exercise, basically. If you're having any issues with eyesight or hearing, get that taken care of. I had to take these glasses back because the first time the prescription was too strong. I'm now getting used to them. They're a little bit better. But sometimes even with that, if it doesn't feel right, it's like, okay, I need to feel good about this. So make sure that looks good. This is also if something doesn't look right on your person, if there's something that feels like it's out of sorts, get a second opinion. Make sure that you're happy with that. Other than that, everything else looks pretty good here. I would say with this, moderation for anything that you're doing is key. Don't overdo it. And I think we had a King of Pentacles reversed. I talked about that. That would be the day that you really want to focus on not overdoing things, because this can sometimes be, we saw exercise. It can be food, exercise, or work, or even something that triggers you if there's an old addiction. We just want to make sure that you're not going overboard. Okay. I think that's everything here. Again, speaking up if something doesn't feel right as well in your life, that's key. Moving on from health to wealth, this is resources, life, purpose, and career. And in the energy of wealth, we have the seer, see beyond the current situation. How nicely aligned is that to this? It's basically everything that I said here. Her eyes are shut. That's kind of like almost like a stereotype in movies. You have the blind seer because you don't need your eyes to see what's real. That's basically what this is about. Even in, spoiler alert, in The Matrix, just in case you haven't watched it, it's been out for a long time. But like in the third movie, we see Neo blind, and he is like the blind seer as well. So yes, this is a time where we're looking at creating something. That is what wealth represents in your life, creating something that matters. It may not all be in front of you. It may not be completely clear how it's all going to happen. But if you can see it, feel it, and you want it enough, you can bring it into being. And that's what this is saying. And if there is someone around you that can't see it, that's more on them. If you know that you can do this, it's just a matter of seeing it through also. Because you're the only one that can bring it to the finish line sometimes. So trust in the vision, keep working hard, and one thing also this week that's important is multiple points of view. Get a second opinion, get some additional insight, do your research. Now let's take a look at this briefly because I don't want to go too deep into all of this, but we're going to look at those that have a job, that are seeking a job, and then students and retirees. For those of you that are currently working, here's what I see. First of all, you have an opportunity this week to really positively affect things through communication, written or traditional communication, spoken. The challenge is not I feel like you're doing a good job, but it may be falling on people's ears, like mute ears. They don't want to really do anything with it. This is someone that doesn't take the next step. This is someone that it's going in one ear and out the other, or they're looking. It's kind of like if you've ever been out with a friend reading a menu and you've looked at it for 5 minutes, but nothing is registering. It's because you're not focusing, or the menu's too big or something. There's something around attention spans and lack of action. So you might have to take it to the next level. So you can communicate it. And I feel like that's actually what's going on. Some people they're not hearing or seeing it because they're not paying attention. Active listening is harder than it appears to be. So like you have to really focus. If you catch yourself in that energy too, you can always back it up and say, wait a second, I was thinking one step ahead. Can you repeat that? I really want to make sure that I understand. So just cop to it if that happens. But if not, if you are in the presence of others who aren't listening, you might want to stop too and just say, hey, it feels like there's some distraction. Do you want me to come back in an hour? Do you want to reschedule this for tomorrow? I want to make sure that this is really being heard and that we have, some action plans. And then I think assigning people to they're not going to volunteer. So you might have to say, whatever, Jan, Sam, Andy, whoever's in the room, I need you to do this. You're going to have to take the leadership role. So be willing and ready to assign and then follow up, because I just get people are dragging their feet a little bit this week. So when you're in that leadership energy, it could be difficult. And you might just not want to do stuff. You're tired. Some of you are just tired. Take a break if you can. Not everybody has vacation time. Not everybody can take a break because you might be small business owner. I get it. I don't really take days off that much either. So where you can fit in a little bit of rest and recuperation time, it's going to be important. Take some time to also do some passion projects and things on the side. Something really important could come out of an idea that's sort of bubbling up. I think that's everything for those that are working. It's a pretty good week overall. You can also finish something that you'd put to the side. I see productivity this week, just not enough hours. For those of you that are looking for employment, what we see here is these are frustrating cards. Not hearing back, not finding what you're looking for. I get that when I'm looking for places. I see a lot of close matches. It happens like whether you're looking for a job or looking for a house, it's a similar sort of thing, or an apartment in my case. Keep looking, keep digging. Eventually you're going to find your Excalibur. It is kind of like a needle in a haystack, but you will find it. I think that I feel like this is always coming through when we're looking at work, but close friend, this is a little easier. Six of Cups is not usually your parent or anybody. It's like a good friend, a bestie, maybe your partner if you're married, someone close that could possibly open a door for you, who you might not normally go to. Six of Cups and 10 of Cups, intimate friends and family. And again, usually not necessarily mother, father. This is like best friend or partner energy. So very close, like someone around you could have a connection. Look, I don't really use LinkedIn. I stopped doing that when I started my own business. But I remember that when I was job seeking, and you can kind of see who's connected to who and ask for an invitation or an introduction. You might want to use that kind of networking skill this week. And then just don't worry. The key thing on this one is not to give up. And if anything didn't work here, that's okay. It wasn't the right match. I see one coming through. It may be outside of this week, though. 8 of Swords. It might be next Monday. So you don't want to give up, though. If you do nothing, nothing will happen. So keep putting your energy forth. Give it up to 1 week, and something will break through. You just have to kind of keep pushing and work the network for sure. Okay. If you're a student right now, I get it. You're tired. Some of you, there are exams right around now. I think we're not through the school year just yet. Finals, is that what's coming up here? Take care of yourself. Whatever is going on right now, I think the key thing here is if you keep pushing yourself, clearly you've done a good job here with this triptych in the center. And I see that continuing, but if we don't take care of this, it can go to the 10 of Swords. So make sure you're getting ample rest and I wouldn't add anything onto the schedule this week. That's my main piece of advice for students. And yeah, rest and a little bit of fun. You need to clean up the energy a bit. There's too much pressure, too much stress. Self-care is key. For those that are retired, I think a gentle break, like this can be like just a day trip or doing nothing, a staycation. This is connecting with really close friends and your family. Very simple core things and doing something to heal yourself here. So whatever it is that would make you happy this week, you have my encouragement and permission. You don't need it, but that's what I see here. And with this, if somebody wants to come in and offer you something, I think a lot of you might have spent a big portion of your life giving. put your energy into the state of receiving as well. Okay, that's everything. Let's move on to love. This is all types of relationships. This is a week to really connect on intellectual level, crown chakra. And for some of you, spiritual level. So partnership in spirituality, but also you could really be planning the next big thing together. I remember I've been fortunate enough to have like 3 best friends at different phases of my life. But my best friend that I kind of met in like the 6th grade, I remember we just intellectually hit it off. And we kept thinking like, this is so unusual. And we were so used to being, because I was kind of a nerd, I worked really, really hard. And so was this other guy that worked really, really hard. But we were used to people taking advantage of us. So like they would want to partner up with us because we would do all the hard work. And it was so nice. Like when we got into, we started teaming up and we both like overachieved and did great. I'm like, oh my God, you did this and I did this. And it was so nice to have someone that put in the same energy. You could meet that level of partnership or friendship where it's not you dragging them in or doing the extra work or filling in. It's just like, God, you're awesome. And that hasn't happened very many times in my lifetime. As an adult, less frequently. I still keep in touch with that best friend. We're just on opposite sides of the globe here right now. But open yourself up to maybe make an intellectual partnership, because those are the kinds that last far beyond the passion ones sometimes. If you can find them both together in one person, that's amazing. But I think there's bestie energy coming through here, best friends, BFF, because that is what the 6 of Cups can represent. So if you're open this week, in all relationships, we see like a friendship blossoming or forming. And in existing relationships, which I'm going to talk about right now, it could be a deepening of that intellectual stimulation. It's not just about the body, it's also about the intellect. We'll start off with current relationships, those that are looking for love, those that are single and happy. So for existing relationships, it may have started off in a very, friendly sort of way. And then maybe you've been focusing more on the passion, or you've been focusing, if you started a family, because we do have the 10 of Cups, it could be more on the familial energy. This is about reconnecting with what the original spark was. So just like I can remember that initial conversation with my best friend, some of you may have that moment of like what it was that caught your eye of that person across the room, or what the first date was like, and the butterflies and the connection and the wanting to talk to each other. So we're going back and we're rekindling that initial point of union, and focusing not just on the passion, but also on the intellectual connection. And maybe that wasn't there for you, but maybe that's also something that you can develop now. Sometimes we start with the physical spark and then you end up really liking the person as well. But get to know them a little bit deeper, figure out what makes them tick, and give some space, just kind of let them be themselves. I think that's key here. Open communication, obviously with the Ace of Swords, asking questions. So you can even just say, you never told me, or I'd like to hear more about this, or, open them up, play the role of just sort of like, not interrogator, because that sounds wrong, but like kind of like I was on the podcast, where I can just sit back and ask a question and listen without having to fill the space. You don't have to fill the space. That's what I'm trying to say. So be curious. That's a better way to state it. The challenge this week for many people that are partnered is just fatigue. You could be tired of each other. You could be tired of work. You could just be tired. And for some of you, because we got this, the 10 of Swords, you could be sick, literally sick and tired. So don't take it out on the partnership. Focus on taking care of yourself. And really, maybe for some of you, there might be things that you need outside of the partnership. So this can be counseling and support, medical help, again, if you're not feeling well. It's important to have friendships outside of your core partnership as well. Healthy marriages and partnerships allow for that, because it enriches, you have more to talk about as a unit. And so open up your own sort of shared friendships, but also continue to develop your personal friendships, your BFFs, so that you have that support system. I think that's the core message for existing relationships, is getting to know each other better and making sure that you're developing out of the marriage your best friends, your peer relationships as well, because you are a person individually and also in that unit. So we need to have both of those versions of yourself thriving. So there you go. Peers and friendships outside of your relationship in a complementary way, like co-workers and best friends. That energy is coming through pretty loud and clear. It's going to touch all relationships, but I feel like it could give you support if you're going through things, because you can talk to a friend. How did you deal with this with your partner? And get some advice and come back a little bit stronger and wiser. Okay? All right. Let's see what else is going on here. I think that's pretty much everything for existing relationships. Now let's move on to those of you that are looking for love. Can you find love? Absolutely. We have a strong air sign coming through right at the center. There may be someone already in your periphery, but you don't see them, because this is a card that really isn't paying attention to that. I also see a water sign here that may be a little bit shy, a little bit of difficulty coming through. The water sign seems attached to kind of like really being ready for a relationship. It's a little bit less when we're looking at the air sign. So this is someone where you have a date and it doesn't go anywhere. And then we see someone here that's a lot more interested, but doesn't want to come off as needy. So they're playing it cool. So there's this weird, the Four of Swords energy is making it difficult to make progress. Remember what I said here. You can encourage, if you feel like there's interest but shyness, you can coax it a little bit, but you don't want to necessarily constantly be in this energy of, unless you enjoy being the boss. It should be give and take. Kind of like I was talking about with that best friend. Communication should come easily as well this week. If you have to carry the entire communication, that's not good either. So let whatever happens happen, and don't feel like you have to push it too much. This is also an advice card. Let them come to you. We had the Emperor today. That was part of that. I don't know if I had a chance to communicate that enough, but one thing that an Emperor and an Empress, because we've gotten those two energies the past 2 days in the dailies, they allow people to come to them. They don't have to control or pull it in. So put yourself out there, express interest, occasionally organize, but also let them come to you. And if you don't see it, don't force it. You can't force the connection. She's trying to force the connection. It's not going to work. The spark is there or it isn't. That's all I need to say on that. Okay, for those of you that are single and happy, I actually feel like it's perfect timing for single and happy. Time for R&R, rest and relaxation. Creative ventures are kind of going through the roof right now, which is great. So you could really use your energy to actively create or put energy into something that you really enjoy. Developing new friendships, like I said, everybody can benefit from that, single and happy especially. Let's move on to your destiny card. Getting a bird's eye view. We have the eagle. The eagle is in reverse. All of these cards of vision, have you noticed that today? The seer was reversed. The Two of Wands was reversed. Now the eagle, who is known for its eyesight, is reversed. They're all vision or visionary cards. So I think something's obvious, but you might be missing it. Like, these are two of the biggest visionary cards that I could pull. So the universe is asking you, what do I need to do to make you see this? How much validation do you need before you accept that something is or isn't? So if it's there and it's consistently happening, embrace it. This is an apex predator, I believe, or if not, just a very good hunter. So the other thing here is when you set your sights on a goal, you have a good chance of getting what you want. So plan, decide, and then go after it. And believe what you are seeing here. Because we do have the blindfolded seer here and the Eight of Swords, which is asking you to go inward. So believe your heart, believe your intuition, set it into action. Let's take a look at the big idea for today. So the focus was create more joy. let's shuffle the cards, and I'm actually going to use one of the other decks for this and see what we can do to create some more joy. Just because I want some different colors here. All right, so creating more joy. What is it that we need to focus on? Did we get 2 cards? No, just 1. Okay, so the Nine of Wands came through in reverse. And what's cool about this Nine of Wands is she doesn't have the bandage around her forehead. She is not feeling this sense of mental fatigue or frustration or giving up. She's saying, okay, look at how far I've come. And I'm still standing, to quote Elton John. So you're still standing, you're closer than you think. Celebrate the progress that you've made. Did I pull her reverse? I gotta look real quick. So what I want, because there's been so many reversals on this. No, she came through in the upright, yeah? So I think the important thing for you to focus on right now is not forcing it. So we've been talking a lot about that, so that's key. The other thing here is to really allow yourself to just sort of like see something through to the finish line. And if you are feeling pressure, stress, anxiety, etc., I think the other thing to do right now is to kind of just take a deep breath. One day will not make a difference here. Just take a step back, take a deep breath, and say, all right, we've got this. Because I feel like some of you might be making this a little bit more complicated than you need to, okay? So you're closer than you think, you're nobody's fool, you can still get this done, and it's just about allowing yourself to really see the potential here. All right, one last thing, and let me just see here. I want to look at all the cards and see an overall trend here. So what is potentially taking away from joy? Putting too much effort into things, not giving yourself enough rest, not speaking up. So let people come to you, speak up, take a break. What else could be impeding with it? Thinking just because it hasn't happened that it won't. Just because you don't see it that it's not possible. What can you do to create more joy? Ask, speak up, push back. Don't settle for less than what you deserve. Allow yourself to be in the flow. Don't force. It's not like you're a dam and you have to force the flow of love or energy into your life. Be the recipient of it. You don't have to be the sort of like person forcing it. Okay, let's go ahead and we're going to get into the meditation. And again, today's was a little bit longer, but it's okay. There was important messages to come through. I am just the messenger and I can't always control the timing. So thanks for being patient. All right, close your eyes if you will. We're going to use the meditation that I talked about here, which is seeing a challenging person in your life or challenging situation and imagining that we're here on this planet and it's almost like they are on an asteroid and you see that asteroid narrowly hitting the planet but not, and then just going off into the distance or into the sun or beyond. So it's not coming back. It's opposite trajectory. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, see the person, place, or thing that you no longer need in your life. See them hopping off this planet onto that asteroid. And as you watch this distant satellite go beyond our gravity, your gravity, I want you to feel like with each breath that you take, the stress, the anxiety, the stuff you don't need, it's also going away on that asteroid towards the distant parts of the universe, the ever-expanding universe. And it's never to be seen again. You don't need to worry about it. With each breath you take, it goes from a bright light in the sky to a tiny pinpoint, and eventually it's extinguished. And it may be out there somewhere, but it's out of your vision, it's out of your sight, and it feels good. It feels good to let it go. With each breath you take, just imagine now what you can occupy with something new in your life, rather than focusing on trying to control, trying to understand, trying to, somehow fix that person, place, or thing. It's gone. You're free. As I play the singing bowl here, figure out what you'd like to call into your life. Imagine that there is a rainbow that is just a couple steps away from you, and you're ready now to kind of like gather your gold at the end of the rainbow. That could be love, that could be a job, that could be personal accomplishment, that could just be peace. Whatever it is at the end of your rainbow, I want you now to step into that light and see it going through each and every energy point in your body, and just say, I'm ready to receive. All right, take a few deep breaths. Allow your mind and your body to come back to this planet. Feel this sense of being ready to receive all these beautiful things. I even said it in the daily reading: love, abundance, opportunity, all your greatest wishes coming to fruition right here, right now. Gently with the next natural exhale, if you haven't already done so, please open your eyes. Focus now, if you will, on a final question. It can be anything that I haven't yet answered. Just keep that to yourself. Focus on the question. Let's shuffle the cards and see what Spirit has to say. We have a lovely card coming through here. So the Two of Cups, this is a yes, and this is another card of partnership and opportunity. It's interesting that in all of the Cups cards today, we didn't see any people, we saw hands. Like the old-fashioned deck, the Ten of Cups, there were the two hands intertwined, and we have it here again. Partnership is a core piece of the puzzle this week and a key to success. So yes, love and friendship. This can also be friendship, best friendship. Is definitely coming through here. As a yes or no, it's yes, comma, but you could do it bigger, better, faster, or more kind of like joyfully with the connection of someone else. So the focus is not just on you, but one other person, perhaps. So we definitely see that lens going out just a little bit this week. And say yes to friendship and love, for sure, with that. Okay? Thank you, everybody. We're going to take a couple minutes here to wrap things up. Thank you, Dakota, for your help with moderating today. Thanks, everybody, for showing up. Before we go any further, if you haven't already liked and subscribed, please do so right now. It's 100% free. It helps the channel, and it will keep you kind of in the loop when new things come through on the channel. You can also give me a follow on social media. Be mindful that it's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, on all major platforms. I'm still trying to get one of them, like an imposter, taken off on TikTok. So as long as you just look at the spelling and know, of course, that I don't offer private readings, and if someone's trying to message you, just block and report them. There's even a form on my website where you can tell me where the imposter is, and I'll fill out a form. It takes 2 to 4 weeks on TikTok. Everywhere else, it's usually done in a day. If you want to show support, I saw someone ask, what is a membership? A membership is actually a way to just give back in a consistent way. You don't have to worry about it. It gives you some perks like emojis. For my next podcast guest, I may let you know what they do and then have you give me a few questions, and I may choose from the pool of questions for the next guest. You get to vote twice, and if there's a tie, I use the member's choice to tie break. There'll be more in the future, but for now, it's just a way to say thank you as well. So the key thing is you're part of the community and you're helping me do more content here, because I can't do it without your support. So thanks to the members, which we'll be saying thanks to in just a second here. Let me see if there's anything else. If you ever have any other questions, you can go to my website. Production schedule usually is Monday, Thursday, and Friday. Sometimes I have to push it a day. You can always see it on my community tab. The things that I never miss are the Sunday collectives and the daily card reads. So check them out if you will. You can look at all of these on the live, the shorts, and the video tab on my main channel page. Now I'd like to say thank you to everyone. If you're watching me on a TV, an iPad, your phone, if you're a longtime member, if you just happen to tune in today after clicking, I don't care. I'm glad you're here. Thank you. I want to say special thanks to the folks that gave back a little bit extra today. So I'm going to begin by highlighting the new members. and then those that may be gifted membership, and then the super stickers, and then we'll wrap up for today. Okay, so let's take a look here. Membership, let's talk about the new members here. Okay, newest members, Lashandia, Melanie, Zanoni, Michelle, Kate, Kimberly, Suzanne, Kat, and Leading Perspectives. I think I got everybody there. And if I missed anyone, I know that Dakota helped with that, so thank you. Let me go ahead and celebrate those who gave back through gifting or celebrated an anniversary. Lorna Smith, a member for 30 months. Thank you for sharing your time with me. I appreciate it. Let's see. I think I said welcome to Suzanne, but if I didn't, welcome. Deborah, thank you for 12 months of membership. Much appreciated. And let's see if there's some other ones here. Okay. Kathy Smith, a member for 11 months. Thank you. Raven, thank you for gifting a membership. Jan Fritz, member for 15 months. I'm glad you like this and thank you for being a part of the community. Trionia, thank you for gifting a membership. Let's see. Deborah, 29 months. You're amazing. Thank you. Let's see. Lori, thank you for 8 months of membership. And I think that's everybody. Okay. And Deborah, I don't know if I said thanks for 12 months. And we just got a new member here, Chronique. Thank you very much. All right. Or Chronic. I need to wrap up soon here because my voice is going, but I'm going to say thanks to the supers and then we'll wrap up. Okay. So today, Phoebe, Pauses in Passages, Vanessa, Drinda, Jeannie, was that twice? No, just once. Okay, Cece, Charlotte, Raven, and that's everybody. Thank you guys. All right, let me see if I missed anyone. I think I'm good. I am good. Okay, Pisces will be released tomorrow, and then we'll be restarting the cycle this week for all of that. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of today's reading. Wishing you lots of love and light. Apollo's already in the other room, but love from both of us today. Take care. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.